Good morning, or even better for some, good afternoon to everybody. We will start the webinar of the Cube very soon, as I do see that people are still joining. So let's wait for a few more minutes. I see that the number is still rising, so. And as we are
Sophie,
maybe a little bit late, then.
Sophie, can you see me twice?
Yes, Austin, I can see you twice.
I don't know how to get rid of it.
Well, you can close the camera. In the meantime, we will solve it. So no worries, but for the ones who did join already, welcome again to the VIDAS webinar, the VIDAS KUBE webinar to be more specific. Thanks for joining this webinar. I am Sophie Bostoon. I'm the Pathogen product manager for bioMérieux in the NEC region, which is a Northern European cluster. I'm Belgian, as you can hear that I'm not a native English speaker. And I will be your host of today. So maybe some of you will ask, yeah, why is bioMérieux doing a VIDAS webinar? We do know it already. It's already 30 years in the market. It's known in the lab. So what are you guys doing? Now, it's already more than 30 years in the market, as we said. But there's a couple of generations already in between. And now we will move from the legacy, going from mini VIDAS and VIDAS to a VIDAS KUBE. And as this is a new generation, we took the chance to listen to you guys, to your feedback, and do a couple of improvements during the development of the VIDAS KUBE. So those new features and benefits will be presented by Alizée and Lee. So Alizée, if you can start sharing your screen. In the meantime, I will give you some housekeeping. So the webinar will take maximum 45 minutes. Please don't hesitate to ask your questions or write your questions. In the top corner, you can find a button to write it down. We will have foreseen some time to answer one of your questions. And who are the presenters of today? As I mentioned already, Alizée and Lee. Alizée Ricordeau, she is from France. So she's based in Lyon in our headquarters. She's our global solutions manager for VIDAS and Tempo since last year. She has a degree in business and marketing from the French Business School, and she spent the last 10 years more in the pharmaceutical world. And she will be joined in the presentation by Lee Barrett. He's based in the north of England. He's our field application specialist for the Northern European cluster. So he's responsible for technical customer care for our customers. He has a master's degree in industrial microbiology and molecular biology. He has been already with bioMérieux for almost 10 years, and good to know he has a soft spot for VIDAS. And last but not least, we have a guest speaker of today, Austin Allen. He's the microlab supervisor at Apetito. He's based in the UK, and you will hear more from him in the webinar later during the interview. So if I'm not wrong, I think we will start with some action from the audience. So a poll. So are you a VIDAS user is the question. So don't be shy and just answer as much as you can. It's a pretty easy question, to be honest. I see that most of the audience is a VIDAS user. Some are still using the manual methods. Only a few competition, which is good as well. But I see that the majority is really a VIDAS user. So we know who the audience is, so I'll let the floor to Alizée and Lee to go and present on VIDAS KUBE.
So hello everyone, I'm Alizée Ricordeau, the Global Solution Manager for VIDAS. So before deep diving into VIDAS evolution to VIDAS KUBE, I wanted to show you how it fits into our bioMérieux food safety and quality portfolio. As you've probably seen or heard the past years, bioMérieux portfolio has evolved to become your augmented portfolio, capitalizing on our testing solution and expertise, to now offering you actionable insights through genomics, bioinformatics, and data science. Your voice is instrumental in this evolution, as it has been for the VIDAS KUBE, as you will see. Capturing all of your needs wherever you are, in beverages, dairy, meat and eggs, or processed food, we hope that our holistic portfolio of solutions can help you resolve your challenges. Within our testing solution, we help you with sample and media preparation to optimize and help you in your preparation and enrichment. We also have some standardized strains with our viable offer. In enumeration, we have Tempo, the automated quality indicators enumeration to assess the hygiene of your food product and facility with environmental samples. We also have the Chemunex decount for sterility testing. For pathogen detection, we will have the VIDAS KUBE, and we will speak a lot on this solution today with you guys. And we also have a PCR solution with GenUp. And now we are helping you with actionable insights with the GenUp Typer for rapid typing of pathogens. We also have solution for pathogen and spoiler mapping for root cause analysis. We also have data services, and now a GenUp X Pro program to customize some assay with you. And the last that I wanted to mention is the EnviroMap, an environmental monitoring digitalization tool. Now moving to VIDAS. VIDAS is a partner in the food industry for pathogen detection for more than 30 years. VIDAS is helping day-to-day more than 2,500 customers worldwide in more than 19 countries. All this is bringing a recognition of the confidence you can have with VIDAS, recognition of the robustness and reliability as well of those being at the core of our VIDAS brand. With more than 30 years of experience within immunoassay testing, VIDAS is easing your daily routine with a simple unitary concept of one browse, one pipetting, one results, thanks to the automation of the immunoassay and the alpha technology. Here is a visualization of our VIDAS strip, and I wanted to show you again the magic happening inside the equipment in the next video. So as mentioned, bioMérieux listened to you to bring VIDAS to the next level with VIDAS KUBE, allowing adaptable throughput, improved connectivity, and full traceability. Without going into the details, as Lee will deep dive on each of those new features and the benefits they bring to you, here is at a glance the new features that has been added into VIDAS KUBE. Flexible and adaptable, intuitive and easy to use software, traceability, reduce maintenance, minimize costs, data management, and protection. I will now show you a short video to introduce our new VIDAS KUBE. So I will now leave the floor to Lee Barrett to deep dive on each of the benefits that VIDAS KUBE will bring to your organization. So now, Lee, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, can you see that?
For the time being, we can see ourselves.
Ah, okay. Bear me a second. Is that better?
We can see the slides with your footnotes. I don't know if it is what you expected to share, Lee.
No, bear me a second. Here we go. There we go. Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Okay, so let me delve a little deeper into the technical and practicality points of how Cube is implemented in a laboratory, both from a workflow and an installation point of view. I know that we will have some existing VIDAS 30, 60, and mini users on the webinar, so I'll also share some of my experiences as an installer and a trainer of VIDAS across Northern Europe. Please feel free to submit any questions in the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer them. So, the system itself is benchtop, and you'll see me in the lab with one later in this webinar. The first thing you will notice is that it has a much smaller footprint, especially when you compare it to a Mini or a VIDAS 30. It's also been designed to be a square, dare I say cube shape, hence the name. So it's easy to fit around other equipment in your lab. There isn't anything extra needed when I install and implement one of these systems. And you'll see this later, but the system comes with an integrated PC with a touchscreen that fits on top of the Cube. So if you're converting from a different VIDAS to Cube, you don't need any additional accessories or components. We've retained the independent section format that's always been popular for workflow optimization, and it's now even easier in the software to assign different sections to specific assays if desired. For a standalone single cube, for an existing VIDAS user, we can install, implement, and train end users in a single day. So you can start using your system very quickly once it's been delivered. So from my experience supporting many different systems, it's one of the easiest and most streamlined systems to train on. So in the previous slide, you might have been thinking, yes, but my workload will need a lot more than 2 sections. Well, the good news is that the units are stackable and you can have up to 6 at once. So you can add an additional unit without making any significant changes to the setup. If you want to add more than that, we'd recommend adding a PC to make it easier to manage the data and to give the cubes a bit more computational power. So a bioMérieux PC can be added if you want more than 2 modules, or you can even use your own company's PC, providing it meets the recommended specifications. And more good news is that you don't need to decide straight away how many modules you may need. You can adapt and extend based on your needs as your range of testing increases. So let's imagine you're a fast-growing business. You may start with a single standalone unit. Maybe, I don't know, you love it so much you want to add another. And in this instance, it's very, very simple on my side to simply add another unit to the exact same configuration. So you can continue to grow and decide you would like another. Well, we can add a PC into the mix, and from there on, you can continue adding up to 6 units, all running via the same PC. So we really thought about the future proofing of the system. So now let's take a look at some of the features we've added and also the good stuff that we've retained from existing VIDAS units to maintain and enhance VIDAS's reputation for being precise, reliable, and robust. So one thing I know all too well as a frontline technical support person for VIDAS is that the family of systems are well known for having very high mean times between failure. The reliable core mechanical components and the engineering design from VIDAS 30 and Mini has been retained for Cube, and we've done some work to show that Cube is equivalent to all other VIDAS instruments. So you can expect the same output in terms of performance. One of the aspects that means that I'm able to implement Cube so quickly at sites converting from other VIDAS family systems is because Cube is fully compatible with all existing VIDAS kits. So if you have a particular favorite on Mini VIDAS, for example, you'll be able to run it on Cube with no changes to your routine. All our existing kits with calibration and controls can be used, and they perform just as well on Cube as they do on any other VIDAS. A really nice feature is that the calibrations are also shared. So if you perform a calibration on one module, you do not have to perform it on another. This exists even to a 6-module combination, since the calibration is specific to the kit rather than the instrument, and the software and data is integrated across all individual cubes in any given combination. Although we have not changed the mechanics of the instrument, we have added some aspects for improved safety measures. You'll see one of them in the lab, so I won't spoil the surprise, but another is that the system is now able to detect if a sample has not been added, and it will alert the user to the error. This is thanks to the addition of a camera component in each module. We've also managed to remove the need to perform QCV. QCV was required to check the system periodically for leaks or clogging of the pipetting mechanism. However, this has now been added automatically to the instrument. We've also included a smart pump that can detect clogs and excessive foam in real time. So from my perspective, these are some of the most requested additions expressed by existing VIDAS users looking to have reduced maintenance and control activities. Something that's just a nice feature that sites like is that the maintenance activities needed are shown step by step via live videos on the system when you are performing them. So there's no need to write long SOPs for maintenance and cleaning activities. So as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of the industry is now moving towards full digitalization and automation. So we've ensured Cube is future-proof in that area too. The system has the latest version of our BCI Connect software to enable it to fully connect to your LIS systems. And we've also focused on ensuring the software is modernized with the latest cybersecurity features and to 21 CFR 11 standard, with room to adapt in these areas to suit the future directions of the industry. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite area, the customer service. I'm a little biased, of course, as this is my team. Because we retain a lot of the same reliable mechanisms of the previous VIDAS versions, only one short visit is needed from a local field engineer to perform the maintenance visit. Cube is also fully compatible with our ViLink remote access solution. So for anyone not aware, ViLink is our ISO certified secure remote access tool, whereby our support teams are able to provide immediate remote support in the event of an issue, or if you'd just like to check something with one of our experts. It also enables you to have immediate software updates if desired, and it's becoming more and more of a requirement for labs to have that flexibility. So we have ensured that Cube has that functionality built in from day one. So I just talk a little bit about the servicing side of it, and I just give the example from my region in the UK and Ireland, but it will be similar in other countries and other regions. So for me, we have around 10 engineers across the UK and Ireland, and we have 6 dedicated industry application specialists with people based across the different regions of the UK and in Ireland. As VIDAS is one of our core systems, we have a lot of knowledge already and experience available at a local level. So an application specialist trained in VIDAS will always be available on our hotline. We also have about the same number of engineers and application specialists covering the Nordics and Benelux region that I can cross over with when I need to. And we also have an expert unit in France as part of our global team that we also link to if needed. Finally, should you wish to take advantage of all the connectivity options available and our remote access solution, we have a dedicated IT team who can support you in those discussions with your own internal IT to make the magic happen. And it's this level of investment in our servicing side that enables us to offer multiple different pathways from initial proposal right to routine use and beyond. This can include optional services to suit your requirements, such as feasibility studies, and we have a fully validated IOPQ service available for Cube. Finally, you may have already seen the new packaging available for our VIDAS kits, which is part of our social responsibility goals. What unique to Cube is that from design, we've also incorporated a sustainability mindset, which is why for Cube, we have new configurations linked to energy saving, such as sleep mode, and we have programmed the instrument for maximum efficiency. Incorporating calibrations across the modules and removing the need to perform QCV has also formed part of this objective. Okay, so we've discussed a lot about the technical specificities of the instrument, but let's now go into the lab and have a little play with one. So I'll pass back to Emily to start the video.
Actually, I will share on my side, Lee.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I will include the sound. It should be back to my screen. Putting it full screen. And here we go. You can appreciate Lee directly in the lab with our VIDAS Kube.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm here in our Basingstoke lab, where sites can see for themselves the different solutions we have to offer. And I'm here with VIDAS Kube. So you can see what the system. We've talked about the different configurations available today, and here we have a single unit with two independent sections. First thing you'll notice is it's much smaller than our mini VIDAS or our VIDAS 30 systems, and it has therefore much smaller footprint in the lab. Single unit is actually smaller than a mini VIDAS, but it has similar benefits and more to a much larger VIDAS 30. And remember, the configurations are very customizable to suit the different requirements that the different customers might have. So you can add another 5 units if you want, or you can even just double your capacity without increasing the footprint by just stacking another unit on top. If you want a standalone PC, you can have that too. You can even use your own company's PC if you wish. In terms of design, we've retained, but we've also improved the mechanics of the reliable VIDAS 30 and the mini systems. So now you just have a single door, like this, with clear plastic. So labs can actually see what's happening while the system is running. You also have some bright light indicators too, which a lot of the sites that I work with really appreciate. So let's see what a routine would look like. Okay, so I've got my sample prepared, so let's run it on the instrument. So one thing you'll notice that all of the kits and all of the reagents are compatible across all of our VIDAS ranges. So Cube, Mini VIDAS and VIDAS 30 or VIDAS 60 all use the same types of reagents, and the loading mechanism is more or less the same for Cube as it was for the previous systems. I can always look at the software as well, just as to double check to make sure that my scripts are in the right sections. So let's start the instrument. So notice I didn't have to use a keyboard there because of course this particular configuration is touchscreen. You can see that it's now doing its scanning process just to check to make sure everything is okay. And you now have a blue indicator light just to tell you that section is not currently available. As I mentioned, because of the fact that the doors are now clear, you can have a look and you can see the system working in real time. So currently, it's doing more or less a similar scanning mechanism that you're used to for VIDAS 30 or perhaps mini VIDAS, whereby it's checking to make sure that the strip that we put in the software matches the strip that we've added here. Oh dear, looks like it's a problem. You can see here, this problem is highlighted to the end user by the presence of this red light. Can anyone spot the mistake that I made? Well, we don't need to, because the software itself will also tell us. I can click on this exclamation mark, and it's told me I forgot to load the spurs. Now, this is a feature that the sites that I work with really appreciate on the other systems, so the mini VIDAS and VIDAS 30. There was no way of having any kind of indication when a spur was missed. And this is because there was no camera in this unit to be able to detect whether or not it was present. So this did create a bit of an issue that required some really good SOPs in place to mitigate, because you could get false negative results. But we listened and we've added that feature into the cube. So now it is impossible to run a strip without a spur, and you'll be notified should that happen. So let's go and correct it, and we'll get some spurs. So I hope you've enjoyed our look at VIDAS KUBE today, and I hope to see you soon, where hopefully I'll be installing one of these systems in your lab.
Thank you, Alizée and Lee, for the nice presentation on VIDAS KUBE.
Thank you.
And now we'll go over to the interview with Austin of Apetito. So Austin, if you can unmute yourself. Thank you. Welcome again. I hope you are doing fine.
Yes, good morning, Sophie. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Austin. Can I ask you first to introduce yourself a bit more than the short introduction I gave in the beginning of the webinar, and maybe deep dive a little bit more in who is Apetito, what are you producing, what are you doing?
All right. My name is Austin Allen. I'm a lab supervisor in the lab here at Apetito. I've been here for 22 years. Started out as a lab technician, and I'm now looking after the day-to-day running of the lab and also the maintenance and updating of our equipment. Apetito itself manufactures frozen pre-packed meals and sweets primarily for the healthcare market, being world leaders with our specialized soft diet range. All products positive release by the lab, so it's vital that we can get accurate testing results input into our system as quickly as possible. We test for both pathogens and indicators, with the VIDAS system fulfilling the requirements for our salmonella and listeria presence absence testing. We test between 100 to 120 samples a day, with possibly 25 to 30% of those requiring a VIDAS assay.
That's quite a lot.
Sorry, it's probably way too much.
No, it's good. But I understood from Sasha and Lee that you made a choice to go for VIDAS KUBE for your company. Is there a specific reason or reasons to switch from the legacy VIDAS to the KUBE one?
Well, so we've been using the VIDAS 30 system for as long as I've been here. So we have quite a big history with VIDAS anyway. It provides, as I say, it provides our primary testing facility for both salmonella and listeria, although we do carry secondary ISO methods just in case. When we learned that the previous VIDAS system wasn't going to be supported by bioMérieux for much longer, we knew we obviously had to look for a replacement. The new VIDAS KUBE system looked very impressive from the outset, specifically with the smaller individual units, meaning that we could kind of spread them around across the bench or stack them up depending on the space available. As I say, all the technicians were using the VIDAS system anyway, so that system hadn't fundamentally changed with the new cubes, so it was a kind of a no-brainer.
Oh, it's good. And indeed, the VIDAS legacy, it's not sold anymore. The support will end by the end of 2031. So it's good that you could change already to the VIDAS Cube. And you did touch already a little bit what you did like about the cube, but did you notice as well a couple of improvements for the lab technicians, for the lab in general? Are there any specificities that you say like, this improvement was really something that is such a good idea that, yeah, please keep it for
Yeah.
the next generations?
Yeah, well, we've had 3 new cubes now since April 24, so just over a year, and so we've been very impressed with them. There were understandably a few initial teething problems, but they were mainly sorted out with a systems update. As I mentioned, probably the biggest difference is breaking down. We had a VIDAS 30, so we had 30 racks in one unit. Breaking that down to smaller units is absolutely amazing. It means previously, if we'd had issues with the VIDAS 30, you know, the whole unit could have been out of action until an engineer had been to fix it. Now, if we do have issues with a unit, we can isolate it, and we still have use of the other two. And also, of course, we now have the capability of Vilink as well, so any issues can be sorted out externally. We like as well the color coded system, which Lee mentioned earlier on. It means you can follow the assays from another room if you like. Well, obviously, providing you have windows in between the rooms, but you can see from a distance what the units, how far the progress has gone on any particular assay. And also the new computer interface is brilliant. The way you can use the touch screen or the keyboards. Obviously, different technicians prefer different methods, but it's great. And all the technicians have their own login now, so you get full traceability right back to the user.
Good to hear. And is it a good added value that there is more controls in a certain way with the camera, that you cannot make a mistake anymore with the spurs, no QCV anymore? Is that really something which is
And
valuable for you too?
yeah, no QCV is a big bonus because although it wasn't a great chore, it was something that had to be done on a on a monthly basis. And kind of, it was never done until it was kind of required and kind of got in the way of the processing. But so getting rid of that has been great. Again, the camera tells you if you haven't got any, if you haven't got a strip in, and also tell you if you've got particles in your sample as well, which is great. So yeah, there are many updates. A lot of them you don't really notice. It's kind of like internal. You just, because the system was possibly good anyway, it's kind of just got better, but internally, so you kind of don't notice that. But it's again, it's great benefits. Yeah, I'm very happy that we've chosen to start using the cubes.
I'm glad to hear that the improvements we made with the VIDAS
Yeah.
Cube, that it's valued by you as a customer. So thank you, Austin, to take the time for the testimonial. So I'll ask Alizée and Lee to come
There
back.
is one downside I should mention.
Okay,
Yeah,
you can. You
it's
can be
not
honest, so
not
please
nothing
go
you could
ahead.
do about. It's no, it's just that I could run the old unit, the computer, off one plug socket, one double plug socket, and now I need 3 double plug sockets, which we hadn't even thought about when we ordered it. So yes, the unit is great, but if anyone's thinking about getting each VIDAS cube obviously needs its own plug socket, and the computer and the printer obviously need their own plug socket. So that kind of change wasn't something that we thought of, and we've had to subsequently get those fitted. It's not a major issue. I just thought I'd mention it.
No, but it's valuable. So thank you for sharing this part as well. Indeed, people need to think on the plugs as well. So it's good feedback. So thank you for being so honest with us and the audience. I really love it. So thank you, Austin.
Thank you.
And I do see that we do get a couple of questions in, and maybe to the first one is maybe for you, Alizée. Do you know how many VIDAS Kubes we did install already worldwide?
Yes, thank you for the question. So in the food industry, we are close to 500 units installed worldwide. If we include the clinical environment, so as you know, the VIDAS is both in the food industry as well in the clinical hospitals, etc. And on their side, they are close to 2,000. So overall, it's 2,500 modules, Cube modules that are installed worldwide since the launch.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answer. There's another question coming in, is the VIDAS Cube, does it need internet access? I guess this is more for Lee.
Yes, I'll take that one. It's a really good question. I get asked this all the time when I'm installing or kind of implementing a system. So the quick answer is no. Of course, if you have the ability to connect it to your network, then you get all of the benefits of remote access and instant software updates. So it's and just ease of use, because you can manage your results kind of remotely as long as it's still on the same network. So it's definitely very advantageous if you can connect it to a network and have outbound internet access, but it's not necessary. If you prefer to just have a single standalone unit, then you can. Often what I do when I'm working with sites, because I know sometimes it can take some time for the IT side to kind of come together, but the lab would like to use the system straight away, is we would install and implement the system without internet access, and then maybe a few months down the line, and when the business case has been built up to add it to the network, then I will come in and perhaps do some of that configuration. But as I mentioned, we also have an IT team specifically dedicated to help sites kind of navigate that side. So you have lots and lots of different options just to suit what you need at the time.
Okay, thank you, Lee. And if we are talking on IT, we did get, I will not say really IT related, but is the Cube compatible with Windows 11?
Again, we get asked this quite a lot about Windows 11 compatibility. The answer is that it will be, and that's something that's coming soon, very shortly. So we know that there is a move now for a lot of sites to move towards Windows 11, and we already had planned within the software and with the design to be compatible to Windows 11. So we are moving towards that very shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. And we do have a question for you, Austin. I will read it just as it's written. I believe you're a CLAS, I think it's an abbreviation. Sorry, I think it's from the UK. Compliant lab. Did you do a validation trial to get the CLAS approval? Sorry.
Yes, CLS, Camden Labs approval scheme. It's a standard form, works to 17025. The answer is yes. The one was done, as I say, we've had VIDAS in the lab now for over 23 years. And the initial, and it was done then at the time of that. We didn't have to, although we did our own validation trials, comparing the two units when the cubes were installed. We didn't have to then do further work with class, but it was done at the time of the initial setup many years ago.
Okay, thank you, Austin. Maybe one of the last questions. It's a pretty straightforward one, but Cube or VIDAS in general, Alizée, it's qualitative, right, and not quantitative.
Yes, it's detection. It confirms the presence or absence of the pathogens. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe as a last question and an important one, Alizée, can you remind us on the actual stop date of the VIDAS 30 and the mini VIDAS?
Yes, so as you've understood, so we have the VIDAS Cube coming, which aim to replace the historical VIDAS 30 and mini VIDAS due to obsolescence of spare parts. Unfortunately, those instruments are getting too old and we cannot sustain them after December 2031. So the end of support of those two instruments, VIDAS 30 and mini VIDAS, will be end of 2031, yes. And as mentioned transparently by Austin, it was one of the drivers for the decision, and bioMérieux took the opportunity to get your voice and also bring into the VIDAS some features that was requested by you guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Austin, to be our guest of today and do an honest and open testimonial. Thank you, Alizée and Lee, to present the VIDAS Cube with all his benefits for the market. We will send out soon a survey. Please fill it in so that we learn on what is good, what can be improved, what do you want to hear for next webinar. There are some upcoming events in the NEC region too, so especially a shout out for the UK people who want to know more about Listeria. We will have a Listeria Day in September upcoming. And thank you all for attending this webinar. It was great. So thank you all and have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.